Hi everybody, Geraldine Rose here. Today, it's one of those ones we unfortunately have to make sometimes, a sympathy card. I know it's traditional for us to use muted tones for sympathy cards. However, the person that this is going to, she recently lost her mom. And my friend, she loves vibrant, bright hues. I kind of figured maybe she got that from her mom. So I hope she doesn't mind. But I grabbed out the mini rainbow foil and I grabbed out the silver shimmer foil and I grabbed out my blending brushes in rainbow hues, the Glimmer hot foil machine and the rustling leaves set, which has got the better press plate, which you can hot foil with, and then the die cut and embossing folder and the stencils. And I'm going to do different layers with those. So for this, I've warmed up the better press plate, putting the foil so that it's pretty side down to the plate. And I was checking the cardstock to make certain that I had my smooth side down. That is hammer mill paper. It's one of the better ones for hot foiling with. You have to run it through really slowly with your die cut machine because it's the pressure and the heat that causes that foil to stick. And I tend to wave it just to make certain that the foil is adhered and it's cooled down enough. So pulling it back, doing the foil reveal, wonderful, wonderful impression. Didn't have to take the gum eraser out and get any of it. So the silver shimmer one is going to be the top layer, and that is the one that I've used the die cut on. And the back panel with the rainbow, I give it a spritz of water. I'm going to run it through the embossing folder, and I'm going to do that about 3 times, I think. I'm going to shift it each time a little bit so that it kind of has like a triple image in the back. And the reason why I did that is because, of course, it's the mom that they lost, but my friend has also got a daughter, and I thought, well, it's kind of like the 3 generations, right? Along with the 3 layers. So I'm just ink blending variously over top of this. And I was thinking about, our relationships with our mothers. They can be challenging and they can be just so rewarding, but no matter when we lose them, they're magical unicorn creatures, right? It's going to hurt. My mom, very British mannered because she grew up with my 2 British grandparents in rural Saskatchewan, and she was pretty much British, even though she was Canadian. And, the whole, are you crying? If you don't stop crying, I'm going to give you something to cry about. Very stiff upper lip, never wanted to see us cry, just, knuckle down and get it done. But gosh, she taught me a lot of stuff. So grateful for the lessons that came out of that. And back to the card. My friend likes dragging around the edges, so I thought I would do that with some of the silver lining gray ink to pay homage to the style of cards that she does. And I'm also using the iridescent shimmer over top of that, and I'm actually soaking it quite a bit because I did want the inks to run a little bit, so they'll still have some of the drag lines, but it's also going to have that iridescent fogged out quality to it, which is kind of like, when someone moves on to the next realm, to heaven. For the inside sentiments, we've got the bad days happen for the first one. And to mimic the color combination that we've got going on the front, I'm using the blending brushes to put portions of different colors through. I'm doing each at a time, flipping back and forth, so that it's got a blended kind of chunky effect. And I thought she would get a giggle out of that sentiment. It's not something that typically you would see on a sympathy card, but she's such a joyful, happy person most of the time that I'm hoping she'll get a giggle. The beautiful inside was the one that I brought the real sympathy sentiment in. I'm doing that in lighter blues, and then I will do the same thing where I'm going to bring in some more muted tones off of the residual ink that's left on my blending brushes for it. Again, we'll be going back and forth with this, back and forth, and very light pressure with that, because that one has got such fine lines with the words that you don't want to press really hard on it. There were a couple of hearts that were also in that set, And I've done the same with them. So I brought in another of the colors that was on the front, the yellows and the greens, and the heart on the other side will bring in the pinks and the oranges, so that we've got representation of the rainbow happening on the inside of the card, but still in a little bit more toned down venue. Okay, custom stamp on the back in gray. And on the front, I brought out creative labels. There's one circular sentiment, and I masked off the portion of it that I didn't need. I had to remember to pull that tape off before I put it down. Again, used the silver lining on it so that it had a smaller sub-sentiment around. For the main one, we were using Versatile Greetings 3, the with sympathy, obviously. And I did that in a brushed silver cardstock with matte gray cardstock behind for the shadow, and then the bottom shadow is a black, so that it will help it to stand out a wee bit against the card. Oh, there were also some circles in 3 different silver colors that were from one of the alt new fine circle die sets. For assemblage, I'm gluing down the bottom leaves. I will be nipping those off. Here go the top ones. I'm just arranging them so that you can still see some of the rainbow behind, but at the same time, it's not interfering with that sentiment. And it's got like in a sense, a kind of a swirl that's happening that you will circle around the card because of the circle die cuts that are in the center. Satisfying part, snipping the little pieces off of the edge. We're going to glue down the till from the width. Put your bottom one down, and then your next layer is up, rather than trying to do it in your tray on the side, because it's just easier to put it directly onto your back panel, the cardstock there. All right, just a little bit of bling bling. Some people say no, some people say yes, but it was very muted, very subdued, and it was just a little shine to go with the silver. And that's it. So it's not really in your face, but at the same time, I'm hoping it can kind of carry off as a sympathy card. And I want her to remember the happy parts. So everybody, you go be that change you want to see in the world too. We're going to head down to the post office off the mountain and get this mailed out. And thanks to everybody for watching and subbing and liking. We'll catch you all next time. Bye-bye, everybody.